All right, good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order. First, I'll just mention, wait for the camera to get it set up here, that this meeting is, East Falls, December 5th. Big Path School Committee meeting is being recorded for to be placed on the website for future broadcasts. First item of business, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I could ask the superintendent for the fire department regulations.
Sure. So we have two exits located right here. You can go through either door. If you head straight down the hallway, there's an exit. If that's blocked, you can take a right or left to an exterior door. If those exits are blocked, we can go right through here and take a left and out through the health tech program.
Great, thank you. Next up, we have approval of minutes from our regular meeting on November 7th, 2022.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion to accept the minutes and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
We have one abstention, motion carries. Approval of the warrants. The warrants are being circulated if everyone can sign it, but if I could also ask for a motion to approve the warrant as presented.
So moved. Seconded.
Motion and a second to approve the warrant. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. I see that we have no correspondence tonight, and so with that, I will hand it over to Amanda, our student advisor. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. So for the month of November, I sent out another survey. This one took off a lot faster than the first one, which is really good. I only sent it less than a week ago. And for the last survey, we got 120 responses over the course of about 3 weeks. In the span of 5 days, I already got 112 responses. So this survey was a lot different from my last one because I went a lot more specific into it because the last one was very general. I talked a lot about, I asked questions about the pep rally, connection issues, Wi-Fi, and one final question where they could put whatever feedback they wanted. For the pep rally, which was conducted about the day before Thanksgiving, 45% of students said it was good, 29% said it was average, 26% said it was below average, and the rest did not attend. So that's pretty good, considering we haven't had a pep rally in a long time. And I asked what was good about it and what was bad. Cheerleading was by far the most enjoyed out of the pep rally, followed by the energy of the students. And for improvements, a lot of students suggested more participation, more student involvement, and more games. So I'm going to talk to student council about that, hopefully. Also, some students thought it felt disorganized, and also the acoustics were very bad. Other ideas, some students thought maybe balloons could be added, music when walking in, events, guest speaker, things of that sort. Now, for connection issues, last month I had a few students come up to me with the issue of Microsoft Office coming up on every new tab. And I asked a question about recently, does that still happen? I got a lot of mixed answers, so it's like inconclusive. So I decided to look more into it. And in my experience, and I asked a few friends for this as well, recently it has not come up, so hopefully that's not an issue anymore, but I will be probably touching base on that again in the coming month. So for Wi-Fi, I also asked on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does it affect doing your schoolwork in the school? And let's see. We had 6 to 10. Oh, students who answered 6 to 10 on this scale were 62%, and 1 to 5 was 31%, so it's kind of an issue. I also noticed, strangely, that freshmen seem to select lower scores than the upperclassmen. for whatever reason. And Mr. Karen also wanted me to ask a little clarifying questions on the Wi-Fi so we could have more of an opportunity to fix it. So one of the questions was, I asked where Wi-Fi connection issues were most prominent, and I got mostly first floor, Mr. Lehman's class, and a lot of related rooms. So final question I had was general feedback, and I opened it up to positive, negative, whatever they wanted to say. I got two very random students answered buffalo dip and taco in a bag are very good meals in the cafe, so that's great. And the student body is doing very good. Substitute teachers was also mentioned as a positive. For things we could improve on, I had another student write about dismissal times, which is maybe something I might have a separate discussion about outside of these meetings. Mental health was brought up a lot, and communication, which was actually a big issue in the last survey, but I didn't know what really to make of it, so I got more specific answers this time about how students are not getting news through emails, how students are not getting properly communicated information because they're on co-op, and a lot of students don't find out about things until they actually happen. So that was good to know. And other than that, that's about it for the survey.
That was fantastic. I mean, just speaking for myself, I was impressed with the first survey that you brought forward. That was even more comprehensive, so thank you for doing that and for sharing that information back with everyone. Are there any other questions or comments from anybody?
I wanted to ask, in terms of mental health, what was their issue? Or what did they talk about? Their mental health or something else?
Just in general, it seems like there's not a lot of mental health awareness in the school, and they wanted to bring more attention to that, because a lot of students are struggling.
You say they're struggling, is it like a personal issues, or do you think, like, I read in an article recently, doesn't mean it would necessarily apply here, but some folks were having problems from being cooped up at home for a few years during the COVID days, and now, is it something specific?
I did not get a lot of specific complaints, but rather, I guess schoolwork was weighing on them a lot. For a couple students, they answered that it was a lot of school-related stuff, but also personal issues. Because I guess I don't know how to word it, I'm sorry, but for the younger generation, it seems these days depression and anxiety are kind of on the rise since COVID happened, so they just want more attention brought to it so that it feels more supportive in the school rather than they have to keep silent about it.
Any other questions? I mean, is it safe to assume that the information that you're collecting, I think we talked about this the last time, but I just want to double check, the information that you're collecting that kind of warrants a discussion or maybe help in trying to improve an area, working back with different folks, whether it be the superintendent or Mr. Cloutier or whoever it might be, are you comfortable working with the school administration in improving any of these areas that might get identified? Perfect, good to hear. Just wanted to double check. I hate to see you go through all this work and not get the support to fix it, which I figured you were getting it, but I wanted to be sure. So,
through the chair, I can just amend that. Amanda does a wonderful job with the survey, running it through us before it's sent out to help with, you gotta get a little more specific with this if you want specific data on that. She's working very closely with TJ Karen, our director of IT, so that they are, response type questions, whether it's a choice or drop down or open response. So she's doing a wonderful job with that. And then when she gets the results, she meets with myself and Ms. Foskett, and we go through it. I took copious notes earlier today about each one of the items, and, you know, in terms of dismissal, give the history on it, that dismissal and students leaving and everybody leaving the top of the hill is an ongoing issue. Pep rally, we all know the acoustics are less than desirable up in the gym, and things like that, but as with yourself, Mr. Chair, I was very pleased with the responses and the level of detail and the level of work that goes into it. In terms of mental health, she shared a very specific instance that was put in the survey, which, you know, yes, we definitely have to get more awareness to students about the resources that we offer in the school. It is a national crisis in school because of the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic on that. And we did hire an additional school adjustment counselor for that very reason. And, you know, a lot of the Student Opportunity Act money is going towards social emotional learning for our students on that. We've got some more work to do on that, but the good news out of that is a student noticed some issues with another student and was aware enough to notify an adult in the building. That student got, I'm paraphrasing it right, and that student who had the issues got the resources and the help they need to get back on track. So there is good news. The bad news is we have to make more students aware of that. Good news is that this student was aware to notify an adult. And a lot of great feedback of what we can do a little bit better in terms of communications. That the students who are on co-op don't hear the announcements in the morning. So we're looking at emailing the announcement to the entire student body, so now they have it, and then locating it in a prominent place on the website so that they can click there and go, oh yeah, I wasn't there, or, you know, rather than scroll through. Because it's great dialogue. Arminda, you know, shared that I get so many emails from all the colleges to go through that. Now, if you can just go to the website and it's right there, I don't have to weed through 100, you know, emails or even more, because everybody wants Arminda to attend their school. On that, so it's great feedback that we get back and forth.
Excellent. That's great.
Through the chair, has there any thoughts been around trying to expand the number of responses? Because you mentioned about 120, so that's what, around 10% of quick thought? And that's 10% of the student body. Are they mostly freshmen, sophomores, juniors, or seniors? Have you been able to?
I have looked at them. I actually I collect some basic information about the students who are taking the test, and I saw that it was mostly seniors and juniors
Okay.
who take it, but not by that much. You know, I actually have it written down. 65% were juniors and seniors.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
All right, thank you again. That was great. All right, under old business, I see that I don't think we have any old business to go over tonight. Citizens participation. I don't think I see anyone for citizens participation, so we'll move on to new business. No presentations. So item B4B is the pump station contract services request and allocation of funds. Mr. Superintendent.
Sure, thank you. Through the chair of the Building and Grounds Subcommittee, the Superintendent Director, the Business Manager, and the Building Facilities Superintendent recommend the school committee vote to authorize the expenditure of funds for contracted services with Weston & Sampson Engineers, Inc. as needed for the pump station repairs, the total not to exceed $10,000.
So moved.
Second. There's a motion and a second to authorize the expenditure up to $10,000. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Report from the Superintendent Director.
Sure, through the chair, I submitted a written report. I'm prepared to answer any questions, if anybody has any questions on that written report.
I was astounded when I divided the dollar amount that the students are making in co-op. It's $7.15 a week. That's a pretty good salary. That's a pretty good deal. If you 83 students making almost $40,000. Wow, life is good. That's why the cars are better in the parking lot.
It's a wonderful opportunity for our seniors, as well as our communities, to have resources that they can rely on.
Any other questions or comments on the report? Seeing none, we'll move on to the subcommittee reports. First, we have audit subcommittee. Mr. Caldwell?
I don't think I'm chairman anymore, am I? Oh, well, I guess not. There's been no meetings, so I guess I'm still chairman.
Didn't show up last month, you let you back in.
Yeah,
You're gonna have a meeting to get out of the chairmanship.
that's it.
All right, one item on the agenda. Budget subcommittee, Mr. Shaw.
Nothing yet. Suppose we'll have something in a month or two.
Still looking at the SB level, would that go through
We're, quarterly reports.
Yeah.
Yep, we're pulling them together.
the, awesome, all right. Building and grounds subcommittee, Mr. Wilby.
We had a subcommittee meeting tonight. Unfortunately, I'm the chairman again. But
Love it.
we got several issues that are before us. One being the X-ray machine in the dental lab, and also advanced manufacturing with the erosion or rust on the equipment. And we also discussed the pump station. We also I've asked my subcommittee to meet with the lead teachers in these two major shops on the 15th of December. A time to be established by the superintendent and the vocational director. And we will visit the shops and talk to the lead teachers, as well as some of the advisory personnel from in his or her shop, to help us make a decision and then go forward with that. We'll also include, we're going to try and squeeze in metal fab as well. Because there's issues there that we need to look at. So, other than that, that was the discussion of the subcommittee.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Negotiation subcommittee, Mr. Erickson.
Earlier tonight, we had the negotiation subcommittee discussion, and this week we've got a meeting. Kyle, have you set up a day or time for that?
We did, through the chair. It is Thursday, December 8th at 2 p.m. We'll do
So
ground
we're
rules.
talking about ground rules, whatever. So that's the next thing that's going to happen. That's about it.
All right, thank you. Policy subcommittee.
Last school committee meeting, we discussed the annual house building project policy. And I would like to set up a subcommittee meeting prior to the next school committee meeting in January. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And warrant subcommittee, so we know the warrants are being passed around. Future business, two things on this. So first, next Monday, the 12th, we have to have a special committee meeting, executive session only. There'll be two items on that agenda. One is to hear the level 3 grievance. Unfortunately, our attorney wasn't available this evening to make it coincide with our regular weekly meeting, our monthly meeting, so it will be next Monday when he's available. That'll be at 7 o'clock on Monday the 12th. And then there will be one other item under executive session that evening as well. And then we have our regular school committee meeting to be held at 7 o'clock on Monday, January 9th, right here. And if there's any topics, any issues or topics that you want to add to that agenda, let myself know, Sue, Kyle. that, remarks from the superintendent.
Sure, through the chair. I want to announce, if you don't know, that we are the Massachusetts Large Vocational School State Football Champions. We had a wonderful game last Thursday night. Thank you to our colleagues in the Dudley Charlton School District for allowing us to use the Shepherd Hill facilities, which is a turf field, and it was a great game, and we triumphed over that. So I think it's a good round of applause for the student athletes as well as the coaching staff, who it was a great year for them on that. So that was good. I want to thank this personally Sue Foskett for putting on a wonderful Santa's breakfast, the return after a 2-year hiatus. And there's school committee members who showed up, and specifically Mr. Montville, who stayed out in the driving rain to direct people into parking spots on that. But we had a great turnout, and having been my first, I was thrilled to see everybody having a good time on that. So wonderful job there. And I'm glad to see our school committee members. I heard initial great reports from the contingency that went to Vegas for the ACTE National Convention, and I look forward to hearing more reports of the good things that they saw there on it. And again, I just want to thank Arminda for doing such a wonderful job on the student surveys and bringing that student voice to the committee on that.
Okay, thank you. And with that, I'm gonna start with Dave, because I know he was one of the people who attended the conference, so to piggyback off what Kyle was talking about, the ACTE conference.
Yeah, no, thank you. It was well worth the trip. And kudos to the faculty members and to Mr. Tripp, who did an outstanding job herding cats and babysitting everybody here. Did a wonderful job coordinating it, and to Peggy Corsi also, who did the housing and the flights. It wasn't an easy task. But the trip itself, I won't take the wind out of anybody's sail, but for me, it really validated a lot of good things that we do here at Bay Path. A lot of the vendors were coming from a technical, virtual supplement your program type of thing. When we went to the ACTE in California a couple of years ago, there was more equipment. And it kind of shows you where things are going to the virtual technical side of things for this one here. So it was good to see that. And I'll let the other committee members fill in their impressions on everything too. But thank you for letting us go, and for the school committee for approving the funds to go. It's definitely worth the trip. Next year, I think it's Nashville.
Sounds good.
Next year, so thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Just hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season and a healthy, happy new year. He forgot to wish us a happy
I
new
thought
year.
it was
All business, Dave, we get
nice
it.
flying.
I know. Dave, we can do that next week.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Al?
I just want to thank Mr. Tripp openly here, because he was like,
A father to
I'll tell you, I couldn't keep up. But, hanging around with him and hanging around with Nancy, I learned a lot, things that the robotics they had there was just out of this world. I never saw things like it. And funny thing is, just before I left to go on that trip, I was reading Crime and Punishment, Dostoevsky's book story, and he points out in there, and way back in those days, the dangers of these robotics who have no conscience and what they can eventually do in the future to all of us. And it made me think, and it made me just, I said, this is really, this is an advantage to come to Bay Path. Because we work with these things. We see more of it, especially in any one of the schools. And if you're gonna have people developing these robotics and what they're doing, they do open heart surgery, no problem, robotics. What else can they do? Open heart surgery saves a life. But if you have a robotic there that has no conscience, what could he or she do to us? And I'm sure the government is thinking about things like that. But anyway, Jim, thank you, and thank all you guys for carrying me around there. Because they did.
It was like having an anchor behind us.
It was like having my second father.
It's okay, Al, we understand.
Okay.
Thanks, Al.
He's like a magnet. When he wears his war hat, he's like a magnet. All people come up to him and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. He's like a, yeah.
Yeah, they thought I was General Schwarzkopf.
Jesselyn.
Happy holidays to everybody.
That's all I have. Thank you, Jess.
Happy holidays to everyone, and let you know, I was at the Fall Leadership for Skills. Kids from Bay Path did very well there, and things were in line for the state competition in the districts. So things are going good there. A point that I might want to mention to you, in the legislature of the Senate, it's hard to get people with a vocational background to understand voc ed. And recently in the elections, Jake Oliveira got elected state senator, and he was on the school committee for a voc school in the western part of the state, so he knows voc ed, which is good.
Hopefully he advocates.
And he answers my phones.
Good? I'm all set. Happy holidays, everyone.
I just wanted to commend Sue and everybody on the staff for a great Santa's breakfast. It was very enjoyable. Looked like a lot of fun was being had.
Kids had fun.
Breakfast was great, and the raffles were just, I didn't win, but Sue did.
I did. Prime rib.
There were some great
Nice.
additions by the shops, and it was a really nice morning. I'm hoping it was successful, and you got a lot of money in for the foundation.
Yeah, preliminary, Irene told us somewhere around 10,000, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Merry Christmas, everybody.
That's about what I lost in Vegas. But Mr. Grenier summed some things up very, very well. There was a lot of virtual and online training, exhibits and vendors and seminars. But I think the big plus for me was meeting and traveling with our wonderful faculty and voc director, Mr. Tripp, who did an outstanding job. It was a great privilege to represent the school committee, so I thank you. And a happy holiday to everyone.
Thanks, Tim. John?
We're meeting again on the 12th. On the 12th day of the month, right?
Yeah.
So, save my holiday greetings for them. Thank you all for serving on your times too. I consider it a pleasure as much as a privilege myself, but no, I think that students are being looked out for by a group of people that genuinely care. I can say that after being around over a year now. And it's a good thing. I wish all public servants could work together as well as we do here. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Jim?
As most of you know, I work at Old Sturbridge Village, and we opened our Christmas by Candlelight program last weekend, and the weekend before last. And I had the privilege of seeing Mr. and Mrs. LaFletch come through my particular place, and they wanted me to wish season's greetings to everybody and let them know they're doing great. And they did, they look good, you know, so we're having a good time. So, but they, we're thinking of everybody, so.
Thanks, Jim. Peter?
I read the article from the Webster Times on Mr. Reish.
Oh, yes.
Great background, very good history.
It cost me a lot of money to put that in.
Also, I'd like to congratulate the Bay Path Hall of Fame inductees, quite a few of them. Congratulations to them. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.
Bob?
I've got three things. I'm sorry.
You're limited to one.
I brought back a new idea for a future shop, a pharmacy, especially being in the Worcester County area where the College of Pharmacy is adjacent to us. I'm going to give this to Mr. Tripp for future development. If we ever get space, this could be a new program, and I think it might be really good. I've got two other things I want to share. We're about to start a Leo Club here at the school, and as of this morning, I had an email from Mrs. Cody. She's got 13 students already with applications signed by their parents and ready to go. We're having an informational meeting on the 13th, and we should have a Leo Club probably right after Christmas. And the last thing, she also is working on youth speech. I don't know if anybody of you know that Lions throughout the state have a youth speech contest. And in fact, Emma from Southbridge last year won the whole state. And she's got 13 candidates that are going to take part in the next couple weeks youth speech contest, and hopefully one or two will move on to higher positions. So it's great. It's the kids are getting involved, and it's great to see our future leaders. So with that, I'll keep quiet.
Thanks, Bob.
Do you have a comment? I'll see everyone next week.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
I just have a couple of comments. I was reading, I wasn't here obviously at the last meeting, and Don, you had mentioned going to that conference and having someone come in to give the committee an overall summary of the teacher superintendent evaluation. Is that something that you had talked about? Are we going to do that? Is that something that?
I've spoken to MASC, and they're going to work it into the schedule.
Great. Okay, good. The other thing that was part of the minutes was, again, a discussion of the house building project, and I know it's just like the other two issues that come up. This has come up several times. I was just wondering, was there a decision about next year made, or is that based on the policy subcommittee meeting? Where do we stand with that?
It's going to be based on the policy subcommittee to discuss and recommendations to the school committee.
For next year's project?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And lastly, I do want to acknowledge, just like you did, the Hall of Fame. Jen and Rick did a great job. It was well attended, and there was a lot of positive vibe that night. You know, with the baseball team, they bring in about 12 not kids anymore, I guess 12 former athletes, and they came from all over the place. And then, of course, we had the induction of two of our former instructors here, Mr. Denby and Mr. McNamara. It was a great night. Thank you.
Thanks.
Just a couple of things. Armand, I just wanted to say, nice job again tonight. And this is just going back to negotiations, are we supposed to vote on something out of that tonight, or is that on the agenda for the next meeting? Did I miss something there? That negotiations regarding the,
Yeah, I don't know.
the 45 minutes situation?
Yeah,
The negotiation committee voted to support the superintendent, but didn't
But I
push
thought it
it-
was going to this.
didn't push it to the full committee.
It didn't push it to the committee, okay.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any
Okay.
action that's needed from the full committee.
I just
Yeah.
want to make sure I understood it correctly. Other than that, happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Arminda?
I got nothing. I told you all already.
Okay. I figured, I wanted to double check. I'm just gonna echo a lot of what's already been said. I wanna congratulate our football team. It's a great win, Sue and everyone who was involved in the breakfast. Again, wanna extend thanks for that. And Jim, thank you for organizing and coordinating the ACTE and making sure everyone here made their way where they needed to go. And thanks for the members who were able to go and represent BayPath. It sounds like it was a great time. Minda, I'm gonna say it again. I'm very impressed with the survey and the feedback associated with the survey, and the behind-the-scenes work you're doing with it to improve on some of the areas that have been pointed out. Great work there. Keep that up. And I'll just say the same thing. Happy holidays to everyone, and Happy New Year, because we won't have the roundtable at our December 12th. Bob, you had one more thing?
It seems like weekly, I notice in our Spencer Ragg, the new leader, that our nursing program is highlighted. It seems like it's either every week or every other week.
Yeah.
There is always something in there, and they're doing good publicity, who's ever responsible for that.
So-
Pictures and all.
Through the chair, that's the director, Gretchen Bollinger. She does a fantastic job with the program as well as advocating for all the program. The number of community service projects that they do are just, it's a testament to the program that she runs.
I guess I plan to go to the National Skills USA, because in the last note that they're doing a fundraiser to support the students that will be going to Skills USA National. So they're focused on supporting the students and going to Skills USA. Still in Atlanta?
Yeah,
Yes.
Atlanta.
Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah. They're planning to be there.
All right, thank you, everyone, and with
But they got
that,
the medals last year, we didn't.
Yeah.
with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.